The hidden teachings of the Bible and what nobody tells you about the power of consciousness and the power of manifestation, and how to use these hidden Bible teachings that are also proven with new science today in order to manipulate reality and create what you want. I'll be breaking down these hidden Bible teachings into 3 big ideas that you can apply into your life. My name is Jake with JakeDucey.com. Before we dive into this, I just want to thank you for watching today's video. If you're new here, if you are a returner, thank you. If you haven't yet, be sure to get my free success hypnosis. It's right there down below. It's jakeshypnosis.com. It's my free success hypnosis to start to reprogram your subconscious mind and eliminate old negative belief systems that we've inherited largely from childhood that are stopping you from attracting what you want. It's free right there down below. It's jakeshypnosis.com. Be sure to hit that bell notification to notify you for new episodes, because we are out here spreading those good vibes every day. And let's dive right into this. So one of the passages in the Bible that I find incredibly fascinating is Romans 12:2. St. Paul said, "Do not conform to the pattern of the world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, and His will is good, pleasing, and perfect." But in order to create the good, the pleasing, the perfect, manifest your dream life, he's saying you have to not be conformed by the pattern of this world. What's the pattern of this world? It's the physical limitations. We've come in as souls into this, what maybe you could call the matrix. And then we come to believe we're our thoughts. We come to believe we're our bodies. We come to believe that the limitations on this world are absolute reality. So the outside world starts to control our inner convictions, our inner beliefs, our inner perceptions on the world. And then all of a sudden, you start to believe it. And he's saying, do not be controlled by this outside pattern. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And we're going to talk about how to transform your mind to attract what you want. So big idea number 1, to not be conformed by the pattern of the world. In other words, to not be brainwashed, to control our own thinking and our own beliefs, and not to be manipulated and programmed and brainwashed by other negative people, past negative experiences, and allowing that old level of consciousness to control your creative powers in life. And the first one is, have you been worshiping things or the spirit of things, right? Because when we talk about at the beginning, you can manifest whatever you want through this power. But in order to do that, you have to understand that those things that you want come from this one originating power. It comes from God. You can call it whatever you want to call it, but the creative force of the universe is the life-giving substance. It is consciousness. It is energy. And there's no such thing as matter. So everything you want, the house, the car, the job, the money, the romance, all of that, it is God. But if we worship the thing and think, oh, I need the YouTube subscribers. You think, oh, I need the money. I need that job. I need that person. Everything is focused on the thing that we want, thinking that the power is in getting that thing. But the real power, so you actually transform your mind. Trans means beyond. So transform means you move beyond form, the world of 10,000 things, the physical world. You move beyond that, and you don't worship things, you worship the spirit of things. And the spirit of things is God itself. And that's what the Bible is saying to us. So in John 5:30, this one's a really good one. And it says, I can of mine own self do nothing. As I hear, I judge. And my judgment is just, because I seek not mine own will, but the will of the Father which hath sent me. I can of mine own self do nothing. As a physical being thinking I am Jake Ducey and I'm trying to get 1 million YouTube subscribers, when you think of yourself as Susie and you want to be making $500,000 a year, when you think of yourself as Jeff and you want to be a top real estate agent in the world, when you're thinking as self, then you're accessing a very small level of your potential, because if you go back to the original quote, was to not be conformed by the pattern of the world. Part of the pattern of the world is the illusion that you are your body and you are yourself. You are this physical being. You're a spiritual being, and really the only power here is God. And so when we step out of self, that's when all the power starts to happen. And we realize that every desire that you have is actually God speaking through you. It's God seeking expression. If God, if spirit, if consciousness is the only energy in existence, then what does that mean? It means that your desires are literally God speaking through you. In fact, the word desire is Latin for of the Father. Your desire for money, your desire for your house, for your car, for your dream life, for your soulmate, for your career, for whatever it is that you want, your desire for it is actually God speaking through you, my friend. That is powerful. And when you get out of your own way, guess what? That power starts to manifest in your life. But here's the thing, when we go back to wrap up point number 1, have you been worshiping things or the spirit of things? Most people are pulling on the wrong end of the purse string. They want the thing, they want the money, they want the job, they want the soulmate, they want the marriage, they want the freedom, they want that happy, healthy life, they want that thing, they have a desire, but they're focused on the desire. Most people are pulling on the wrong end of the purse string. Instead of thinking in YouTube subscribers, I need to think in terms of God. Instead of dollars, instead of stocks, instead of houses, instead of careers and relationships, think in terms of in God we trust, because there's only one originating source here. And this substance penetrates and permeates and fills all the inner spaces of physical matter. Albert Einstein said there is no such thing as physical matter. It's all just energy. And this energy is God. And this energy is waiting on you to become aware of it. And through your own awareness of it and realization of it, then it starts to work to and through you to fulfill your destiny. Big idea number 2 is transform. It's moving beyond the world of form, the world of things. That original quote, to not be conformed by the pattern of the world, but be transformed. So trans is beyond and form. In order to renew our mind, we have to make our mind and our consciousness think greater than our present environment, think greater than ourself, think greater than your life circumstances. Got it? Does that make sense? So when they're saying to not be conformed by the pattern of the world, the way that you don't be conformed by the world, programmed by the world, and you reach your highest potential is to renew your mind, but you renew your mind through transformation. Move beyond form, move beyond the world of things, move beyond my story, move beyond what my physical senses tell me. And in the Bible, in Hebrews 11:3, it says, "By faith we understand that the universe was formed at God's command, so that what is seen was not made out of what is visible." So that what is seen was not made out of what is visible. Albert Einstein used to say that particles don't create other particles. Particles don't create other particles. The Bible says, so that what is seen was not made out of what is visible. There's another quote in the Bible that St. Paul says is, "That which is seen hath not come from that which appear." The physical world, matter doesn't create matter. Particles don't create other particles. There's an infinite spirit. There is actually energy and consciousness that is manifesting itself at a slow moving vibratory state so things look physical. And when we understand that, then we can detach our mind from the world and we can invite God's will into our life. Remember, we said God's will it's perfect, it's good, it's harmony, it's abundance, and you invite that into your life. So how does that manifest in your physical life? It means all your bills are paid in abundance. Manifesting God's abundance and God's will of harmony means that you're fulfilling your purpose, your dharma. It means that you have a career you love. You're making great money. You're contributing to the world in a positive way. You're healthy. You're exercising. You're taking care of yourself, and thus you're glorifying God. You have that powerful energy that then you can give to your friends, to your family. You're healthy, you're free, you're doing what it is that you love. And this is available to you, but you have to let go of yourself. You have to let go of who you think you are. You have to let go of what your physical senses tell you. And you take a deep breath, just go and say, I invite the power of God into my life. I invite the power of God into my life. Number 3 is letting go of our ego or sense of identity. And there was a really interesting way I heard James Twyman in one of his books talk about how he defines the ego. And he said the ego is that fickle part of ourselves that has edged God out, or it thinks it has. It really hasn't, because there's no such thing other than this originating substance. But think about it like this: ego. EGO, edging God out. It's the part of ourselves that believes we're the only one here. We believe in this idea that particles create other particles. We're these physical beings. We don't understand that our physical body is just a rental car housing our soul. We're trapped in our ego, our sense of accomplishments. Our identity comes from what we look and how other people feel about us. That is the ego. But in order to start to use the hidden teachings of the Bible to really manifest your dream life, which is really manifesting the potential of God, is actually what it is. Because your success, your health, your happiness, your great family, your financial freedom, they are all just symbolism of the power and perfection of God. Because we're made in the image of that same thing. And that's why I got so into reprogramming my subconscious. I have a free success hypnosis. It's right there down below in the description and pinned to the comments. It's jakeshypnosis.com, because I realized I had inherited so many crappy belief systems. There's a Stanford study that says we have about 65,000 thoughts in a day. Think about that. That you have 65,000 thoughts in a day. 95% of them are subconscious. They're habitual. And 70% of them are negative and redundant. So we have to start reprogramming our subconscious mind. We have to start eliminating this little ego that thinks you're not capable of this, you can't do that. And so you could check out my free success hypnosis right there down below. So on the subject of our ego and getting out of our own way to allow us to become an instrument of God's will, God's perfection, God's genius, God's miracles that can start to manifest in our lives. And then you become a steward of it. You become a channel of it, but it's working through you. So Jesus said that you can't serve two masters, that man cannot serve two masters. So think about that. You cannot live from your ego, your sense of self, your sense of identity, your limitations, and live from spirit at the exact same time. It's pretty interesting to think about, right? You cannot live from the physical world, the limitations of it, while simultaneously living from the source of abundance at the exact same time. So the section that Jesus talks about this in the Bible says, no one can serve two masters. For either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will be loyal to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and mammon. So what is mammon? The word mammon actually comes from the Greek word mammonos. So similar roots exist in other countries, and this all brings us back to mammon being the physical world. You cannot serve the physical world, or in other words, because serve's kind of a weird word, you cannot identify your sense of self and your sense of what reality is and what you're capable of, what's possible in the future. You cannot define how much money you can earn. You cannot define how successful you can be. You cannot define how positively you impact the world, how many people's lives you touch and influence and transform. You cannot define how great your life could be, how much freedom you could have. You cannot define how perfect of a romantic relationship relationship and family you can attract and create and start. You cannot define it and the potential of it when you're living from your sense of self, which is just a collection of baggage that we've inherited from our world and the limitations of the physical environment. And so what I invite you to do is really think about that. Think about that and ask yourself, what are you really capable of? And then that begs another question. What's God capable of? If you get out of the way and you call that energy into your life, what's possible? Well, what's God capable of? I mean, shoot, created the universe, perfect solar systems, perfect atmosphere, created the nervous system that allows my heart to beat perfectly while I've been making this video. Just like freaked, it's incredible. God's perfect. It's limitless in nature. And guess what? You can call that energy into your life. And when you call that energy into your life, you'll be amazed at the things that will come into your life. Money, success, love, relationships, happiness, freedom. And when you remember to not seek your validation or identity in those things, and you realize the real power is the kingdom of heaven was within, that God really is the actual source of all that physical abundance in your life, you can enjoy it and you can glorify the amazing power of spirit. And you can be an example that maybe helps other people wake up, and it helps point them to the signpost. And the signpost is saying, you're a spiritual being in a physical body. You're more than you think. You're more than you believe. And this spiritual energy, God, this consciousness is always available for you to tap into if you just invite it into your life. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, be sure to smash the like button, get my free success hypnosis. I'm going to link some of my other hidden Bible teaching videos that you can click to check out, and I will link them in the comment and description to check out as well. Let me know what you think of today's video, and if you enjoyed it, thanks for watching.